Yes, so I never got the opportunity to get employed in the government authorities or parastatals, and so what I did was to get into marketing on commission basis, and incidentally, it was very hard for me because when I came from home, first of all, those days the train war I think was about 30 shillings or something like that to Nairobi, and all the clothes that I wore were borrowed clothes, apart from the inner panties, which were just mine. Everything else were borrowed, and I got to Nairobi expecting to be hosted by my slightly distant relatives. However, after 1 month or so, I was thrown out, and I had no choice but to stay in the corridors. And incidentally, one man came and said all the compound belongs to him. That was in Mbotela estate, postal houses, and he chased me away. One time when he had come with a prostitute in the house. However, the story turned out the following day that the lady was coming to sell maize in Nairobi, and unfortunately, she was conned and she landed in a pub where she met this man, and this man took advantage of that situation and came and used her. And so when the lady told me issues like that, then I had no choice but to sympathize with her. However, I was sympathizing with her, and at the same time I'm also in a very awkward position. So what on one in some fate just happened while I was waking up from the streets with the street urchins, with glue and all that stuff. I went to do my usual marketing in my tattered clothes, and I met an old man, an elder in the National Youth Service, who asked me if I could get him a good house help. And to cut the story short, I went back to the lady who was in that house, and I told her if she could do the house help job. She agreed. I took her back to this man's place, who had given me 100 shillings, and fare those days was about 10 shillings. It was 5 shillings along Thika Road. And I took the lady, we reached there, and all the rest is history. She was accommodated, and incidentally, the man said this lady cannot stay alone. I was accommodated in, and that's how I built myself. This is a total stranger. Now, this is what I'm trying to say. Through all those hassles that I went through, and hardships, the only thing that I had in myself was confident that one day, somehow, I will make it. Because in my home, my father never had even a bicycle. And I said, one day I must drive home. I must own my own vehicle, must own a house and all that. And good enough, through confidence, self-building, being assured of myself. I didn't care how I was. I have built myself up to this far, and this is how I told a few people in my live my live page on TikTok here that it was interesting for me to get the first vehicle, because I admired how people were walking with the keys to open their vehicles. And anytime I would hear somebody press the alarm button, and the signal comes out, I was like, that would be my car one day. So what I did is that as I was growing in the insurance industry, I bought the alarm for a vehicle plus a few bunch of keys, which could not open anywhere. But I was working with it all over the place, knowing that these keys are going to open my car one day. And anytime I would hear the alarm from whatever vehicle, I would press my key, my alarm button, and you would hear tweet tweet, and that would actually confirm that there is a car somewhere belonging to me. And the whole story went on like that. One time I went to Gikomba to buy a very beautiful jacket, official jacket which was woolen. It costed me about 50 shillings with a few stitches here and there. And when I ironed it, I came to the office with it where I was working on commission basis, and it was perfect. Incidentally, somebody loved the jacket. That was the turnaround for me and business. The jacket which I bought at 50 shillings, okay, I had my bus fare and all that. It costed me, let's say, 150. I sold it at 1,500 shillings that time. And I went back to Gikomba and I bought a bale of clothes, suits, and I opened my first store at Posta Circle. That was the beginning of my business in Nairobi. The rest is history. After a lot of work and development, I got into the importation of motor vehicles, and I imported my first vehicle, Fielder it was KBX 710. This was the first Fielder in the year 2008. That was the first Fielder that I got, and everything else is history. Building myself from scratch without any capital from anybody, without anybody putting a hand on me. I had no relatives, not any one person. Now, the story is long. The story is long, and I want to put a few facts on the ground because I've just cut the whole thing into the snippets. That the most important thing for every young man that is listening to me today is always have confidence in yourself. The best asset, the greatest asset that you can have, let me put it like the best capital that you have, is yourself. I have always had the belief that as long as God is in heaven, Kenya is at peace. I don't care whatever the state of the economy. For me, economy is not an issue. And I am alive and strong. Nothing, and I repeat, nothing is impossible for me. As long as those three I've mentioned are existing, God in heaven, Kenya is at peace, and I am alive. Even if I am sick, but as long as I'm still breathing, I must get that which I want. It doesn't matter what happens, I must get it. So having confidence in yourself is key to everything. Reflects your attitude, your character, and zeal. It can help you stand out in a crowd and enhance your authentic self. Whenever you meet anybody who is talking negative about the country, the government, the leadership, get out of that person immediately. Look forward. And let me tell you, the aeroplane does not have side mirrors because it is fast moving forward up. It has no business with what is behind. If you encounter anybody giving you the dark side of whatever it is, whether it is life, whether it is women, whether it is the country, our leadership, thieves, corruption, that is none of your business. Life is in your hands, not in anybody's hands. Secondly, communication. Improve your communication. Have skills which can help you and make the most out of your personal development efforts. Whatever that comes out of your mouth must be constructive. Jesus said that the words that I speak, they are life and they are spirit. So according to me, what I believe in that statement is that what you speak, number one, is a spirit. Now listen to this. If somebody talks to you something very bad, you feel pain. How do you feel pain yet he has not touched you physically? It's because your spirit is pricked and therefore your life is affected. But if somebody gives you good news, you are elated and you become jovial. Why? Because there's a spirit being. So you are a spirit being. So what you speak is a spirit and that is life. So when you speak negative, you are building or creating a negative person outside, and that person must be fed. So when you speak or build up or create a negative person, you have to sustain that person with negativity. And that one, if you fail to sustain it, it will come killing you. And that's why Jesus said, one day or another, everyone will have to take account of the words that you spoke. Because what you spoke will come back to you. The spoken words will never go aimlessly out. When you speak, it goes into action. So when you speak life, speak to your tomorrow, speak to your future, and you build your tomorrow, so that when you meet your future creation, you meet it with joy that I spoke you into being and you are here with me. Have a positive communication to yourself. He said, what defiles the man is not what goes in, but it is what goes out. Why? Because that which has come out is going to build you, because you have built a construction. Let me tell you, God created you in his own image and in his own likeness. And if God can speak things into being, you can also speak things into being. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Be optimistic. A positive attitude can help you face challenges and overcome obstacles. It can also make problem solving easier. When you are optimistic, let me tell you the darker side. For example, for those of us who drive at night, I love driving in the middle of the night. Anytime you are driving in the night, you don't see very far. But as long as you are moving, you see the light that you are sharing, the car is shining, is focusing on the front, is always, the darkness is always paving way for you. So at the end of the day, you don't fight the darkness, but it is creating space for you. But initially, you never used to see what is ahead of you. That is the same thing with negativity. When you are optimistic, any obstacle that comes your way will simply pave way and lets you to move by force, and you move forward. Be a good listener. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Always have time to listen. Listen and understand. One time when we used to argue with my partner in so many years ago, is that I would go violent when they argue. Until one time a voice came to me and said, listen, in the midst of the noise, there is a message. And so when the partner ranted and made a lot of noise, quarreling and made all of that, I recorded the information on my phone. And when I listened to it, despite the fact that I was feeling very pain, I learned that there was a mistake I was committing, and I corrected. In the midst of the noise, there is always a message. My grandmother one day told me that even madmen have a message to tell you. It is not strange for them to come and talk to you, but they tell you the truth. Let me tell you one thing. Between a pastor and a drunkard, who always tells you the truth? It is a drunkard. Always listen to the information that is given, regardless of whatever ways that it comes to you. Be a good listener. Develop social skills. Now, you are a social being and you belong to a community. The Bible says, God said, it is not good for a man to be alone. It's not about loneliness. You can be in the house alone, but you're not lonely. But it is not good to be alone. Always build your niche within people. You better plant people and not money. When you associate with people of a higher hierarchy, very soon you will be with them. When I started owning that remote, I would always tell them my car is in the garage, and they would give me a lift when I don't have money to get home. And somehow one day or another, I fueled my vehicle. Be a social being and develop social skills to be with the people. That is a personality development. It can help you deepen your self-awareness and embrace self-acceptance within the society. Set goals and objectives. That is common. It has been read in theories and in all kinds of books. practice self-discipline to manage yourself. Those are normal skills that are trained and taught in schools. I've given you personal snippets that I used myself, that I was not taught by anybody. This was from my own personal conviction. Develop emotional intelligence. Don't be very quick to react negatively or to go violent. Always listen to people in whatever situation they are in. Finally, I told somebody the other day that I am in class and I'm studying at this age, and he was like, "What are you reading for?" One time, my lecturer at Kenyatta University told me that what people don't know about education or the university is that you are not studying for a particular faculty. The purpose of going to class, either in the lecture hall, primary, secondary, college, or university, is not for that spectrum or specialty that you are going into, but is for your mind to be open. Let me tell you, if you go to the university, your reasoning is different from him that has gone through college, is different from him that has gone through university, the primary and stopped there, and is still different from them that never went to school at all. So the purpose of going to school is not just only to enlighten yourself in a particular course or parameter, but to open up your mind to a wider perspective of the world. And right now, as we do talk with you right now, is I'm going through classes. I've done basics in the law. I've done a theology. I'm doing alternative dispute resolution, and currently I'm sitting on, I want to understand the person of the woman, studying womanology. This is what's called the leadership or women in leadership. Why women are being described as women in the mind of man, but we are looking for a way how women can tell us who they are. Who is the woman? And that's what it's for my own building, my own joy. Is I enjoy reading and studying at all times. So that is basically what I have been through, and this is where, because the future is very bright for me, and I encourage you also who is listening to me, don't always quote that we have no capital, the government is messing us up, the economy, the president. My friend, you have work to do. Cry at your own risk, but you'll still have to go back to your house and build yourself.